happening, everyone? It's Ben Nelson with the Tech Intern Show. This is episode 6. So thanks so much for joining us. Welcome back. A beautiful Saturday morning here in Bozeman, Montana. Today I have with me Ryan Williams of Montana State University. Super excited to bring Ryan onto the show. Ryan's someone I met through the university. We co-founded the MSU Salesforce Student User Group last semester, so that's kicking strong, and we're also fellow interns here at Zinovo, managed services for Salesforce. And I'm super excited to bring you on. You've got some interesting takes towards kind of the intern role with Salesforce, stuff that we've kind of learned throughout together. So a couple housekeeping things before we begin. If you like what you're seeing here at the Tech Intern Show, or you even think you would want to come on to the show, shoot me a DM or an email. All my contact information is below. If you also like it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow along the Tech Intern Show on Instagram as well as LinkedIn. Housekeeping's out of the way. Let's just get right into it, Ryan.
Sounds good.
Cool.
My name is Ryan Williams. I'm originally from Southern California, and I came out here to MSU for a couple different things, skiing, fly fishing, but more so than anything was that I wanted to put myself kind of over a cliff and really stare down life and be able to grow, and I thought that going away for school would really be a good opportunity for me, and so I'm here, graduating here in a few weeks, internship with Zinovo, and I'm really excited to be on this podcast.
Heck yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. So talk a little bit about MSU, kind of your experience, your field of study, some of the things that you've gotten out of MSU other than the incredible skiing and fly fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I originally was an environmental science major, but eventually switched over to business.
Wow.
My time here, I'm a management major, and so talking about team dynamics, how people interconnect in a business setting, team settings, individually, how to keep your team motivated and strong and goal-seeking. I mean, it's been a truly incredible experience. The overlap into my personal life has been great, and to even now working in Salesforce, I still see, the things I've studied in interpersonal connections really holding true now that I'm shifting over into like more of a career phase of my life.
That's awesome.
And it's all been provided for by MSU. I'm super happy with it.
Heck yeah. That's super cool. So you started with environmental science and are now totally business realm. What kind of initiated that shift?
Yeah, grew up in California. I love to fish. I love to hike. I love to ski. And so the environment was important to me. But what I found was going into environmental science, I wanted to talk about like water conservation and land resource management. But Montana's a very ag-based school based on the area and the region. And so they were mostly talking about growing wheat. Yeah. And so I decided to leverage my strengths back over to business. And I've always had a kind of desire to learn more about it.
Super smart, dude. I love it. And now you graduate in 13 days?
Yes, I do.
14 days? Dude, are you excited?
I am over the moon, just so happy.
Yeah.
And more happy than that is I get to share this experience with my family.
Yeah.
They were a huge reason that I'm out here, and the fact that a lot of them are coming out to graduation, I'm just overjoyed. It's going to be awesome. Fantastic.
That's super cool, man. Well, you're a senior and I'm a freshman, so I've got a lot of time and a lot to learn. But yeah, what's kind of been sort of now that we're going into, and also intern buddies at Zinovo, kind of what's been your biggest takeaway that you've taken from business school and then sort of shifted it into this intern role and hopefully into a career here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's really two main things you need to understand working at Zinovo, or at least starting out from my early kind of understanding, is that you need to understand what businesses try to do with their business process, how they operate, and then you need to understand how that can translate into Salesforce. And sometimes it's one-to-one, sometimes you have to do some tweaking. But the good news is that you can tweak Salesforce to a business process. It's what it was built around, is that you can apply Salesforce to almost any business and lead to more success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fully custom. I think that's super cool. So now that we've kind of dove into Salesforce together at Zinovo, but we started the Salesforce Student User Group at MSU last semester, that was a really fun experience for me just to be a part of something totally new at MSU at such a young age and be able to work with people like you and Linda Ward, who is a great advocate for students. What's been sort of, now that we're working like in the back end of Salesforce and doing more learning just like with the business practice side, what's kind of been your biggest learning experience from Salesforce, the way that you see it, like consultant, intern, and or like back end user?
Well, I think I want to take this question in a little bit of a different direction, and
Go for it.
I want to say this. In school, you do a lot of learning on your own. You do reading, you do studying, and you do it to pass an exam. Sometimes you work in a group, but you never really have a mentor. And I think probably one of the most important things about learning Salesforce and being an intern in general is to recognize that you have a team supporting you that are way more knowledgeable than you. And you have every single right, and it is your prerogative to, when you have time, talk to them and learn from them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to teach you things faster than if you were to try to do it on your own.
You're right.
You want to leverage that team to the fullest extent that you can.
Yeah. I think the mentor thing's fascinating, something that I tapped on in a previous episode, but the value of a mentor or mentors, whether it be someone at the business school like Linda or someone like Peg here at Zinovo or someone back home, is like the amount of, when you like start to leverage your connection with them and like really start to take interest in that, you can learn a great deal. I think the mentorship thing is super valuable. So now, yeah, right?
It really is.
Yeah. So Salesforce, you're kind of a numbers guy with your background in Excel and business management.
To some extent,
yeah. You've seen some of the numbers with Salesforce and their predictions towards your return on investment as whether you be a managed services firm or whether you adopt the platform. What's kind of your, and granted, we're so early on in the process of really knowing Salesforce, but what's your prediction towards how Salesforce is going to continually impact the business world?
I think that they're going to get better and better at providing tools to businesses, a wide range of businesses. They started off in sales. We have multiple clouds now going all the way into nonprofits. Yeah. And I think they're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to see success. They implement agile project management, and I think that they're really seeing leaps and bounds where the larger you get, it's kind of like turning a cruise ship.
Yeah.
You get kind of immobile. You can't turn fast, but they seem to still be able to bring value updates, every couple of months. And I think we're going to continue to see huge growth, leaps and bounds with Salesforce.
Yeah.
Personally, what I want to see Salesforce for the individual. I want like a friend to be a lead, and then eventually we hang out a few times, and now they're like a contact, and they've reached the friendship.
I love it.
Yeah. Personal Salesforce. I want to manage my life.
For mobile.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So with I see this too, and we talked with the dean of the business school about this, but with all the change in the CRM world and how relationships with customers are becoming so much more valuable in a world that's so digital, if you can centralize your focus on a customer relationship, that is the game. And now we've begun to talk about kind of how can we bring students up to speed on this change at MSU. And so we're thinking about doing this sort of class where we teach CRM, not myself, but faculty. What's kind of, obviously you see the value in it because you're invested in hours and hours of Salesforce training and stuff, but what's the value to other MSU students or students in general or young professionals that have a desire to learn Salesforce? Kind of what should be their, not call to action, but why should they do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll say it this way. Faculty have kind of a vested interest in teaching what, their background is in, their PhD, their bachelor's degree. They want to teach what they know, and it's difficult to shift as things change. But the fact of the matter is CRMs are getting very big. Almost every business across this country is using some sort of CRM, some sort of web-based platform. Yeah. And it's a lot like learning a language. Once you learn your second language, being able to pick up that third is going to happen even faster. You don't want to specialize students so heavily that you kind of pigeonhole them into going into one field. But at the same time, it's a disservice if you aren't really mentioning and teaching them about things that they are going to see in their day-to-day.
Yeah.
It should not be a surprise that a company is using Salesforce day one.
Yeah.
A student should not say, what is Salesforce? They say, oh, okay, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you feel at least a couple steps ahead with you were introduced to Salesforce your junior year, and then you really dove in this year and kind of took it to heart, and now you work with it every day. I'm sure the value that you've seen just over the past year of learning the platform It's why we started the Salesforce student user group, right? Is just to like
absolutely.
bring students in, teach them the platform, kind of show them the capability and also the benefit to the business. So,
Well, I mean, functionally, what we were seeing is there were businesses here in town, and people want to stay in Bozeman.
yeah,
And they were saying, "Please, will you learn this? We want to hire you." And no one was answering that call.
there's serious need.
And so we took it upon ourselves to say, "Okay, students, if you really want to stay in Bozeman, learn this stuff. It's here and it's available. And Salesforce has awesome training documents online, better than anything I've seen,
yeah,
better than most textbooks."
yeah. Seriously, Trailhead, serious stuff. Yeah, graduation's coming up. What's kind of, as you shift your whole life to a work-focused sort of career realm, does that seem weird to you, of like being done with school and going to work?
Yeah, it's a little scary. I think there's something kind of beautiful and relieving about being able to change like your focus, change your schedule every few months, which is going semester to semester to summer. But at the same time, at least for me personally, I really like to see consistency in my life and being able to really have a set schedule. I don't have to bring work home with me, although I probably will.
Yeah.
But being able to focus on one thing. And Salesforce and Zinovo have treated me so well. I really am excited to be able to put more value into the company that's treated me so well this past year.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to continue to work with you. Should be really fun. We're a pretty baller intern team.
I would say so.
We get it done. Cool. One more question before we get into the final round. Something that you've seen with maybe your jobs throughout college or the internship here at Zinovo or simply just schoolwork, but a question that I've asked other people and I'm excited to hear your take is, what's more important in the business realm today, being intelligent or being coachable?
It's a tough one, and the answer is probably both if you really grind down into it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I would lean towards coachable. Coachable also brings about a sense of integrity and humbleness that you bring to the table. It makes you easier to work with. You're more likely to get more value out of your team, out of your manager, when you sit there and say, "I don't understand. Please show me."
Yeah.
If you do your best to learn, because let's face it, we work with people that maybe pick something up slower, but people that are less intelligent or more intelligent, they can still do excellent work, and it turns more into how much time are you willing to put in.
Yeah. Yeah, that willingness to learn is key. Something they teach you at the business school.
It's true.
Something you really have to adopt, though. So, well, thanks again for coming on to the show.
Of course.
The final segment I do of the Tech Intern Show is called the Final Round. Just 4 quick questions, kind of wrapping up the episode, kind of touching on all cylinders here. First question, what's kind of your go-to book recommendation for people?
Book recommendation comes from Professor Scott Bryant of the College of Business. It's The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt. I read it over spring break. That book will make you understand the way you make decisions. You will also feel called out by that book, and those are both really good things. It'll tell you a lot about the way people make decisions and how they move through life.
Wow.
It's a good book. And it's short. It's
the
only 200
Happiness Hypothesis.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll link that below.
Cool.
That's super interesting. You touched on a little bit about just like in conversation with myself about like investments and kind of how you want to start doing more of that and managing that. What's kind of your take? We talked at breakfast about IPOs and sort of the interesting thing that's happening now, but what's kind of your trending investment or just like thing that's happening in the world with you
absolutely.
today?
Well, investments come in a lot of forms. I would say my cheeky answer is going to say I've been investing in my network pretty heavily recently. Not so much making it bigger. It's not just about having a big network, but it's making the relationships within your network stronger. I'm trying right now to find jobs for my friends or at least link them things that I think they might be interested in, because a network is only a network if you're supporting each other. And I'm trying to lead by example on that. So my cheeky answer is that. Otherwise, I can tell you that there are some companies really focused on giving back to society. And so any firm that they're putting a significant effort into thinking about how they can give return on investment on people.
Sure.
Medical is the leaning I'll give.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. No one's ever kind of taken that perspective of investment, like not monetarily. So that was like, I love that. I think the network investment is like obviously why I started the Tech Intern Show, and I touched on it with Hannah in episode 4. Yeah, 4. But like investing in the network's key. And especially in a place like Bozeman where there's not a ton of people and everyone seemingly knows everyone.
Yep,
And like
absolutely.
if you're going to stay here for a while, I think the network is
You
a
want to be at
huge
that
key.
table.
Yeah.
know? It gives you insight into where the city is going, what's going on, what opportunities are available.
Yeah.
You'll be in the dark and you can be left behind if you don't.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, people living in Bozeman, they're wonderful people. You want to know them.
Yeah.
It is not a job to maintain the network here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well said. Where do you find yourself being most creative? Is it the co-working space, office, home, classroom?
I think the only place that I've truly sat there and said, I think I do this differently from everybody else is like my senior year of high school when I used to climb a lot. And now that I have cash flow again and my schedule's going to be a little more consistent, I'm excited to start climbing again. I'm not saying I climb well, but I'm saying I do it a little different from everybody else. And
Nice.
that's kind of fun. And I felt like I did stuff differently. And I did it because that's the way it felt good for me.
That's awesome, man. Wow. Yeah, that's super cool. Last question here. Is there any podcast that you listen to or email subscription that you read that you find is like most valuable to you?
Yeah, there's a fun one where sometimes I learn a lot about myself and other people, and other times I just laugh. It's called No Dumb Questions by Dustin Sandlin and let's see here, Matt Whitman. Dustin Sandlin was a rocket scientist up until recently, and now he's going back for a PhD in mechanical engineering.
Whoa.
And then Matt Whitman is a pastor just a few miles from here in Wyoming.
Whoa.
And that dynamic is really fun. I enjoy listening to them a ton, and they cover topics in a breadth that you think wouldn't be imaginable.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is that called again?
No Dumb Questions.
No Dumb Questions. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Well, thanks so much for coming on to the
Of
show.
course. It's been a lot of fun.
I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best with graduating college and moving on to a career, hopefully here at Zinovo.
You'll be back next year?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Living that intern life, man. Cool. Well, thanks so much again.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.